Why is the story start so important? Reading a new story is like opening a gift, with the story start representing the wrapping paper. You want your reader interested and excited to find out what lies beneath. Once upon a time there was, oh dear, a very uninterested reader. "Just jump!" roared Sam. It was a bright, hot summer's day. A scream tore through the darkness. One day, Jack was on his way home from school. Friday, the 7th of June, the worst day of Julia's life. So how do we go from this to this? Interesting story starts cause the reader to start asking questions that they desperately want answered. So the difference between the good story starts and the boring story starts are the good story starts get the reader intrigued. They have questions they want answered. Some writers call this the hook, with the hope that once the reader is hooked, they won't want to stop reading. When I smiled, she didn't smile back. It was then that I knew I had a problem with my bathroom mirror. Eek, scary. As he broke open his fortune cookie, he found a tiny map inside. Interesting. "Shh, be quiet or he'll hear us," whispered my sister. "Eh? What's happening?" We all agreed that Mr. Briggs deserved to be pranked. We just couldn't decide which prank to do. Ha, sounds like fun. "That's the last time you'll see that football. Don't you dare climb over the fence to get it," Mum said with a firmness in her eyes. Uh-oh, I sense trouble. I woke up, got dressed, and had breakfast. It was time for school. Boring. So before writing your story start, decide on which emotion you will use to hook your reader. Interesting. Eh? What's happening? Ha! Sounds like fun. Eek! Scary. Uh-oh, I sense trouble. Now you need to start writing your sentences. Why not try one of these story start strategies? We'll start with once upon a time. Just kidding. Let's leave that one. But before we leave it, it's worth noting that there's one or two famous stories that begin with once upon a time. The Tale of Peter Rabbit and Little House on the Prairie are two examples. And with a little creativity, it can still work. Once upon a time, there was a pair of pants. Sentence start 1. Hook by introducing a character. I am Ivan. I am a gorilla. It's not as easy as it looks. People call me the freeway gorilla, the ape at exit 8, the one and only Ivan, mighty silverback. The names are mine, but they're not me. I'm Ivan, just Ivan, only Ivan. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious. because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. Until he was 4 years old, James Henry Trotter had a happy life. Down in the valley there were 3 farms. The owners of these farms had done well. They were rich men. They were also nasty men. All 3 of them were about as nasty and mean as any men you could meet. Their names were Farmer Boggis, Farmer Bunce, and Farmer Bean. Sentence start 2. Hook by describing the setting. If you went too near the edge of the chalk pit, the ground would give way. Barney had been told this often enough. Roger, age 7, and no longer the youngest of the family, ran in wide zigzags to and fro across the steep field that sloped from the lake to Holly Howe, the farm where they were staying for part of the summer holidays. Sentence start 3. Hook by describing an object. There was a hand in the darkness, and it held a knife. The knife had a handle of polished black bone and a blade finer and sharper than any razor. If it sliced you, you might not even know you'd been cut. Not immediately. The knife had done almost everything it was brought to that house to do, and both the blade and the handle were wet. Sentence start 4. Hook with a question. "Where's Papa going with that axe?" said Fern to her mother as they were setting the table for breakfast. The Iron Man came to the top of the cliff. How far had he walked? Nobody knows. Where did he come from? Nobody knows. How was he made? Nobody knows. Sentence start number 5. Hook with dialogue. "I'm going shopping in the village," George's mother said to George on Saturday morning. "So be a good boy and don't get up to mischief." "Yes," said Tom bluntly on opening the front door. "What do you want?" A harassed middle-aged woman in a green coat and felt hat stood on his step. Sentence start 6. Hook by talking directly to the reader. If you are interested in stories with happy endings, you'd be better off reading some other book. Everybody knows the story of the 3 little pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story, because nobody has heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf. Sentence start number 7. Hook the reader with an eyebrow-raising opening sentence. Kidnapping children is never a good idea. All the same, sometimes it has to be done. It's a funny thing about mothers and fathers. Even when their own child is the most disgusting little blister you could ever imagine, they still think that he or she is wonderful. And so to summarize. First, decide on which emotion you're targeting. Eek, scary. Interesting. Hey, what's happening? Ha, sounds like fun. Uh-oh, I sense trouble. And second, try one of these sentence writing strategies. Hook by introducing a character. Hook by describing the setting. Hook by describing an object. Hook with a question. Hook with dialogue. Hook by talking directly to the reader. And finally, hook with an eyebrow-raising opening sentence.